All right, before we start this mock draft, I am proud to announce the new presenting sponsor of Boomer Bust the Draft Show. That is WinView, the best thing to happen to sports since fantasy. Now, I know that may sound hyperbolic, but really it is not. WinView is a new way to bet on sports. Gone are the days where all you can bet on are spreads, over-unders, money lines, or player props. No, with WinView, you can bet on singular events live during games. Like, will the Cowboys score a touchdown on this drive? Will this at bat be a strikeout? Will James Harden make this free throw? You can bet on those things live during the game. You can make bets like these and more on the WinView app. You can play for free for fun or enter cash prizes against other users, which I have so much fun doing against Donnie, against Nick, against Tate, against PJ, against so many of my friends. We all love using WinView. All you have to do is answer props before and during the game. It's so easy. And all you have to do is sign up is just click on the link that is in our description of the video, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, it's in the description of the podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in our pinned comment below. So just click on that link, make your account, and deposit money into that account. Become part of the new way to bet on sports today with WinView. All right, let's get into this mock draft. Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside Nick, Merriam, and Donny Clemons. So free agency for the most part is over. So that changes a lot for the 2022 NFL draft. So, of course, we're going to have to do a 2022 NFL mock draft. Again, what we would do, not what we think is going to happen. Before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Be sure to follow our Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Boom or Bust Draft, or on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, so subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And please check out the merch store below. So, let's start with the number one overall pick in the draft, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars for the second straight year. And if you watched any of our mock drafts for the last, I don't even know how long, you're going to see the same pick over and over again. And I am taking Aiden Hutchinson, the edge defender.
Oh, my God. The world is shocked. Oh, my God. Michigan. What a reach. Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get on board.
We told you this was going to be a thing, though. Like, people were denying this like a month ago big time, and it's a thing now.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No. It's not a thing. It's the thing.
It's happening. It is happening, which I am so happy about, because before in our last mock draft, we were saying, listen, they're probably going to take an offensive tackle, but I would go with Aiden Hutchinson. Now, like, he is the odds-on favorite, the heavy favorite to go number one overall. And we were actually talking in our group chat earlier today. Not only do I think he's the best player available in this for the Jaguars, I also think this is a guy that you need in your locker room, not even on the field, because as we all saw and as we continue to see, because the Urban Meyer advent calendar of stories just does not end, and I hope it never ends, because
it's really rough.
It is glorious. Every morning that we get a new one.
It is really, truly unreal.
But last year, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with me, that was the biggest disaster I've ever seen in my entire life. So the culture there was the worst I've ever seen any NFL team have. And I think Trevor Lawrence is the guy that you could build your culture around. We always saw it from him at Clemson, was he's a really good culture guy. Aiden Hutchinson on the other side, too, is a phenomenal culture guy. This guy, all he cares about is football, and all he cares about is getting better. And for a team that was literally the worst team in football the last 2 years, and a team who's coming off the most disastrous season I think I've ever seen, you need culture resetters. So you get a guy like Aiden Hutchinson to be the instant leader of that defense, and a guy that a lot of people can look up to, and a guy like Trevor Lawrence in the offense, a lot of people can look up to. I love that. So you combine the off-field, how he's phenomenal off the field, how he's phenomenal on the field, how all he wants to do is get better, plus the best player in the draft. This is a slam dunk number one pick, and I am so happy that this is most likely going to happen now for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You get your quarterback and your edge, and I like the high floor hiring with Doug Peterson too. Go ahead, Donnie. Yep.
Real quick, because I was talking to a Jaguars fan about this. I know, crazy, right? Jaguars fan. How many of those do you see?
One of those exists, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I was talking to him about it, and I just have a question real quick. Where does Chason play? Or do they just kind of like give up on him? They put him at linebacker?
I think to convert to linebacker.
Yeah, or rotational edge. Yeah. So, I mean, look, I love the Doug Peterson hire. The only thing you got to do is fire Trent Baalke now because this free agency was awful.
Yeah.
This is again, another terrible
Hire
free
Adrian
agency.
Wilson. Adrian Wilson. I
Should've.
want Steve Keim to be fired because he's an idiot, and we should bring him in. But we extended him. Thanks, Bidwell. So yeah, hire Adrian Wilson.
This free agency, as much as I say, hey, I like where the Jaguars are going, this free agency was horrible for the Jaguars this year. So, fix it with Aiden Hutchinson, but Trent Baalke, he's got to go too, I think. But anyway, I'm a big fan of where the Jaguars are going if they take Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, we like it. And really the blessing for them is that they got out of the Meyer thing after 1 year, because if it lingered, that would have been an issue. Number 2 pick is the Lions still, of course. The new betting favorite as of today, I believe, is Kyle Hamilton, the safety, to go number 2. We were on this. We've had it for the last 2 drafts, and we're sticking with it. I, for a while, had thought, I still might think Malik Willis is the pick at 2 here. I don't hate it. That's like a B pick to me because I do think they have some offensive pieces. But if it's up to me, my top guy is Kyle Hamilton. And I think that this is a team that I still think, if they don't take a quarterback, they stick with Jared Goff, they'll probably be pretty bad next year, give themselves a chance to get a better quarterback prospect than Malik Willis, especially with 2 first-round picks and the opportunity to move up. I think I like what they're building here with Dan Campbell, and I think Kyle Hamilton is regardless of positional value, he's the best player in this draft class. Still, I don't care that he ran a 4.59 40. He tested out well in other areas. I'm all in on this guy still. Injury, he had an injury and he competed at the combine. That was great. We didn't even know if that was going to happen. So that's something you like to see as well. All in, lock it in at 2 and get yourself potentially, a day 1 guy who could be a top 5 safety in the NFL.
Yeah, like a Kyle Pitts for safeties, basically. Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe he pulls a Derwin James and he's the best safety in the league right away. I know that sounds crazy, but we can legitimately not throw that narrative away. It could happen. So Kyle Hamilton is obviously generational. With the 3rd pick, the Texans, they need tackle badly. They need tackle very, very badly. I know they also need edge, and I know they restructured Orme Tunsil. I don't think they can trust themselves with taking Kayvon Thibodeau. Or at least I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust them with Kayvon Thibodeau. So I'm going to give them a guy who I feel like won't miss, and that's Akeem Ekwonu, the tackle from NC State. Best run blocker in the class. Like I said in the last video, he's going to kick you, spit on you, punch you, throw you across the room, do whatever it takes to make sure you do not touch the ball carrier. And they need guys like that. You're going to throw him at right tackle, and automatically Davis Mills, who wasn't bad last year. He wasn't horrible. He was fine, especially for how dirt cheap he is. Not only is he a rookie, he's a 3rd-round rookie, so he's even cheaper than a 1st-round rookie. So why not run it back with him? I think the weapons are good enough for now. Obviously, you're going to want to improve later, but I think the weapons are fine enough for now. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, these are fine weapons. They're good enough for now. I think you got to improve the offensive line and get some protection for Davis Mills, and also you add a bit of a run game into it as well. So, yeah, Akeem Ekwonu.
I love it. And this is actually, so we mentioned at the top how we said, hey, this is what we would do, not what we think will happen. These are actually the betting favorites to be the number 1 pick, number 2 pick, and the number 3 pick. And Akeem Ekwonu right now is the betting.
Akeem Ekwonu is ahead of Neal?
Yes, he's the betting favorite to be the number 3 overall pick right now.
Wow,
which, it was a little surprising when I saw that too. But yeah, this one I can promise you is not the betting favorite to go number 4 overall. And
Jets fans will let you know that.
Yeah, they're going to let me know. And I'm sure PJ is going to text me and be very upset with me. But Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback from LSU, listen, man, this guy's my number 3 prospect in this class. I get the injuries, and yes, this is a roll credits, boomer bust prospect, the biggest boomer
roll
bust
credits
in this class. But when he was healthy, even his sophomore year and even a little bit of his junior year, he was a lockdown corner, man. And they weren't throwing at him, which is why you didn't see the production of his freshman year, because his freshman year, he's an 18-year-old. And, he's starting on the outside for LSU, who also has a ton of other stars on that defense. So they're going to say, yeah, let's test out this true freshman. Just so happens that true freshman is the best corner in the country as an 18-year-old. So at breakout age with Derek Stingley Jr., the Jets still have a big need at corner. They did get DJ Reed Jr., who I think is really good, but you still need another corner opposite of him. And I think Derek Stingley Jr. is still the biggest need on the roster. And combine that with the best player on my board at 4th overall. I love that for the Jets at 4. They're not going to do this. I can guarantee you they're not going to do this at 4. But he is my CB1. He would probably not be the CB1 drafted, but I would take him at 4th overall here if I'm the Jets.
Real quick, I just want to point this out real quick. Stingley's sophomore season is so underrated.
Yep.
People really think it was just
lockdown.
Yes, he was good. Like,
the best college corner seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his freshman year was obviously generational, and then his sophomore year, I thought he was fine. Like, and then people always say, "Oh, Devontae Smith toasted him." Yeah, you're good. People always say like, "Oh, Devontae Smith toasted him," and I'm like, not really. Like, at least according to PFF, he allowed under 70 yards against him, and then 1 touchdown that wasn't really his fault.
And a guy who won a Heisman at wide receiver.
Like, oh my God, you couldn't lock down the Heisman Trophy winner. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and even the 1 touchdown. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, like we've seen that touchdown. So the one-handed catch, like, unless you have like a vertical jump of a superhero, you're not going to be able to deflect that ball away. Like, come on.
Exactly. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, and this is I think we haven't brought up since like last year, but it's the reason offenses are doing so well is just that the best throw and the best route and the best possession play on the ball is going to beat the best coverage most of the time.
Yep.
And there's just he's not in terrible position on that play. It's just a ridiculous one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. That was the jump was timed well by the Heisman. Yeah, it's what do you and a quarterback who was almost offensive rookie.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, they like I said, in sophomore and junior year, they stopped throwing at him, which is like you didn't see the production, but it's also because he stopped throwing at him. So that's why. Yeah, I completely agree.
It's a big sign. Yeah. Giants at 5. Another pick that I actually think is going to happen. It might be at pick 7, not pick 5. I probably could have gotten him at 7. Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge from Oregon, has kind of slipped through this process because of off fields. He was great at the combine, and people loved his interviews too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the kind of closed door interviews that we've heard some issues with from a couple of people, but. I still think, personally, I believe the Giants are all in on him. And I think if he will fall to this pick, and I think the Giants will pounce on him if he's here. I think they are looking for a dominant edge player. I have been. Azeez Ojulari was fine year 1. They could do better, especially if he's their number 2. You put Kayvon opposite, get themselves a real pass rusher outside of a solid interior and a defense that has been built not poorly, and it's not a bad defense. And I think they need to just get the best talent they can get here, and he's my top player on the board, so we're going with him at 5.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, Panthers at 6. I have officially done it. I have Malik Willis QB1, and I think this is his floor at this point.
Yeah.
This is his floor at this point. Like, this really is. Like, the floor for him is Carolina at 6. And I'm going to take him in. Malik Willis has the highest upside of any quarterback in this draft, and it's not really particularly close. I mean, you saw that throw he made at his pro day. Like, no other quarterback in this draft has the ability to make that throw, like, as much as he can, maybe. I mean, maybe Howell, but I don't know. Maybe, but either way, Malik Willis is the highest ceiling in this class. He has a cannon. He's an amazing runner. Like, I've been saying this for a while, even as a Cardinals fan, the moment he gets in the NFL, he's a better rusher than Kyler Murray. And I think he's going to be a lot better than Kyler, because I think Kyler at this point wants to be a passer more than a rusher, because we saw in his second year when he wanted to be a rusher and they used him like a rusher, he almost had 1,000 yards, but he got hurt quickly. So I think they're going to use him a lot less. And Malik, on the other hand, he's 6'2", so he can take those hits. In fact, broke the college football record for broken tackles in a season. Didn't he average like every other snap he had a broken tackle?
Yeah, point 0.6, which is the record. The second most is 0.48 with Sam Howell, my guy, and Javonte Williams, or 0.48. But 0.6 that's ridiculous for a single season.
Yeah, that's absurd. So yeah, you're gonna be aiming for the ceiling with this, and considering Matt Rule is coaching for his life, he's going to want to take a guy who has that ceiling where if he does work, he's going to be able to keep his job, or maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But you might as well take a shot. So Malik Willis going number 6 to the Panthers.
Giants are up 7. Everything that's been said is that they're going to try and go O-line, D-line. I talk about with the Jets how, although Charles Cross is my number 1 tackle, that I find it situationally, there are places I would rather take Evan Neal. The Jets are one of those teams. The Giants, actually, to think about, because it would be a right tackle opening, because I think Andrew Thomas has proven that he's your left tackle in the future. But I think I'm still going to go with Charles Cross here, my top tackle on the board, which means Evan Neal is sliding a little bit. My reasoning here is I think if the Giants go tackle or any offensive lineman, they just need to hit. They just need to get a guy who will allow them to evaluate Daniel Jones. This is a good pass protector. The athleticism checked out at the combine. He was an 80th percentile athlete. I don't care that he's moving to right tackle. Give me the high floor guy and make Daniel Jones prove to you that he's not a guy that they should just be getting rid of next year.
Make Daniel Jones great again.
Absolutely.
More like hope he's okay again.
Yeah, hope he's okay. Yeah, exactly. And hope you can get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud is what I would say, actually. All right, 8 here with the Atlanta Falcons, and this team is slowly becoming a dumpster fire, man. They got Mariota in there, which I'm interested in seeing how he does with Arthur Smith, who coached him in Tennessee when he was there as the offensive coordinator. So we'll see how that is. But the issue is they have no receivers right now. Because Calvin Ridley suspended for the entire season, their best receivers are like Olamide, Zacchaeus, Frank Darby. Remember Frank Darby?
Frank Darby.
He's one of their top receivers right now. And I know I'm as a receiver, Kyle Pitts is their top weapon, obviously. But dude, this Falcons team is in.
I mean, Kyle Pitts can play on the outside. So I mean,
he will play on the outside. I think he will be a receiver. He'll probably have like a Jimmy Graham type situation when he's like, pay me like a wide receiver.
CB1. He's gonna have each CB1 lined up against him.
Oh, we definitely will. Or if not, because I am taking Garrett Wilson here, the wide receiver from Ohio State, my wide receiver 1. I think this is great for the Falcons. They need something because Marcus Mariota, that poor guy, is going to be in for a long season. Falcons are still in for a long season, even with Garrett Wilson.
About Mariota being thrown to the wolves.
Exactly. The Falcons might really be in the running for like the number 1 overall pick next year and try to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud because this roster doesn't look too good. The defense has a lot of holes, but right now that wide receiver room without Calvin Ridley next year is horrible, and you need to do something. And so many receivers are already gone. Like maybe you can get Odell Beckham, but I doubt he wants to go there. And plus, he's going to miss a lot of next season. So it's like you gotta get something, man. And Garrett Wilson, my wide receiver 1, like I think they're taking a wide receiver at number 8 overall unless Malik Willis, the hometown kid, falls to them, and I don't think that happens. So Garrett Wilson, I think, might actually be the pick here at number 8. So let's go back to picks 1 through 8 and just read them off real quick. Jaguars take Aiden Hutchinson. Lions take Kyle Hamilton. Texans take Ikem Ekwonu. The Jets take Derek Stingley Jr. The Giants take Kayvon Thibodeau. Panthers take Malik Willis. Giants again take Charles Cross. And the Falcons take Garrett Wilson. So, Donnie, you are up now with a new team that we don't really do mock drafts for because they have the 9th overall pick ever.
We've never done this before.
No, never.
The Seattle Seahawks, because of that Russell Wilson trade, now hold the 9th overall pick. So, what are you doing with them?
Well, what they're actually going to do is probably take someone that we've never heard of because you know how Seattle drafts are. Mm-hmm. I'm predicting Jordan Davis. Let's just be real. That could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could happen.
But thankfully, I'm in control and I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to be taking not a cornerback because this guy fell. Evan Neal, tackle Alabama. Don't know how he fell here. Not going to ask questions. I'm just going to take him and just not complain. You're getting a franchise. You're going to play him at right tackle right away because you still have Dwayne Brown. But he's 36, which still blows my mind. I thought he was like 33, but he's 36, which is crazy. Yeah, I know, right?
He's still good, too.
Yeah, he's not bad. Like, he's regressed a little bit, but he's definitely still solid. Mm-hmm. And eventually, you can put him at left tackle whenever his contract expires. So for now, put him at right tackle, and Drew Lock or whoever you draft in the second round.
Or Baker Mayfield. I think that's happening.
Baker Mayfield.
It's the only
someone,
place whoever can go.
whoever your quarterback is, have fun.
Yeah.
You'll have protection. You'll have DK Metcalf. You're gonna get like 3 wins, but that's okay.
I heard they are shopping DK Metcalf.
You're gonna have Tyler Lockett and Dwayne Eskridge.
Yeah, Dwayne Eskridge. Finally, D. Eskridge.
Yes, Dwayne Eskridge.
Dude, Packers need to be calling Seattle immediately and be like, please, God, give us DK Metcalf. I actually love that pick, Donnie, though. And you say right tackle, like Evan Neal, like was great at right tackle when he played there.
Yeah.
So he's got positional versatility, like we said before. So actually, that fit is pretty good. All right, so I'm up here again with the Jets via Seattle. And I'm taking Drake London, the wide receiver from USC. It's another need for the Jets that I think they didn't really fill too much in free agency. And I think the Jets they need a number 1 receiver. I think Drake London, you need that guy for Zach Wilson, and Corey Davis, who I like a lot, but I don't think he's the number one receiver. And I like Elijah Moore, but he's not a number one receiver. He's a really good slot receiver. But, man, you get Corey Davis on the outside. Elijah Moore actually played on the outside. Corey Davis is more of a slot guy for them. And Drake London, you put on the outside. Like, he is a guy who, the speed isn't great. We'll see what he runs on his pro day, but it'd probably be like a 4.6. Doesn't matter, man. That's not where he wins. And he's a guy who's going to catch 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns yearly in the NFL, in my opinion. And to have a guy like that for Zach Wilson is very invaluable. And I think that'll be a great pick for the Jets. And if you fill your two biggest needs with Derek Stingley Jr. and Drake London, you're moving in the right direction, I think, if you're in New York.
All right, Commanders time. I'll try to be quick with this because we haven't even talked about the Carson Wentz trade at all. Unless you want to check out my podcast, which I just plug. Go check out Give Me 2 Years and I'll Name It podcast. I'm taking fan submissions for names. We're trying to figure out a name for that podcast.
It'll take 2 years, though.
It'll take 2 years, though. We got to get the copyright and all that, and the branding, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So as much of a failure as the Carson Wentz trade, and I really I hate it. You can find tweets this offseason of me saying it would be worse than just sticking with Heineke. I was not a fan of this, but he's your guy now. And in a bad QB class, I'm not pro taking a quarterback. You just can't. You got to try and maximize Wentz. And I think your hope has to be that, you surround him with a good receiving core. He's never really had a great receiving core. The best one he had was Philly that one year, and it was all right. Alshon's okay.
It was Zach Ertz.
Good.
It was mainly Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz, Torrey Smith was their number 2. It was good, not great. So I would like a receiver here. Max took both of them, so that's great. Although Garrett Wilson's my number 1 guy, I actually think Drake London's a better fit. I don't think he's actually going to be there at all, but that's is what it is. You got to maximize him and hope that somehow him being with Philadelphia people has just been the problem, and that he's going to reflect and fix some things and become the quarterback we thought he was going to be maybe after year 3 or 4, but whatever. I'm not a fan, but here's where we are. There's no receivers. I would hope Stingley's here in real life. He might be. They might pass him anyways. I don't know. Mike linebackers thing. They drafted Jamin Davis. He's too small to play Mike. He can't play in the box, so they're going to move him outside. So I'm going to take Devin Lloyd, who I actually think is a very solid Mike linebacker. I hate this back-to-back linebacker thing. I think it's probably going to happen.
We did the same thing. So
I like Lloyd as a prospect, so I could get over this B pick here. I could deal with it. Because I do think it maximizes Jamin and it might fix last year's pick a little bit, possibly. But a tough spot. I think you got to try and trade back if London and Wilson are gone here, and I don't know that they will. So here we are.
Nick's going through it all, man. Let's send some nice comments down below for Nick.
Please, please, he needs it.
This man's been going through it this offseason. So
check out his podcast too. It's very fun. It's a very fun watch. The first episode was outstanding.
Yeah, so I genuinely believe our offseason has been better, and we haven't done anything except a bust first round.
Dude,
a bust first round pick.
The funniest thing to me is that the Colts upgraded at quarterback, but got more than they gave up. They got Matt Ryan and they got more back for Carson Wentz than they gave up for Matt Ryan. They upgraded.
Is it an upgrade? Is it actually an upgrade?
Yes, I mean, Matt Ryan is better.
Is it an upgrade? I don't know.
I think Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz.
He is definitely better right now. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well,
at least Wentz has athletic upside.
You got to look at it as an investment. I don't think Matt Ryan is becoming a great quarterback now. There is at least a 1 in 50 shot you get out of the Wentz, which is probably as good as I don't know, trading for Drew Lock. So,
yeah. Or just signing
Mitch Trubisky, yeah.
Yes. I'm happy.
You guys are underrating Wentz too.
I don't think we are.
At least he has athletic upside.
I did like the intro press conference.
So does Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky has athletic upside too.
And by the way, I'm coining, because everyone was making hot dog memes, we're calling him Commander Hot Dog from now on out.
Yeah. Commander Carson is my favorite thing. That picture of him in the varsity jacket is my favorite.
It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
At least we're getting we thought we'd have the meme quarterback in Fitz last year, and he got hurt immediately. And I might regret this when Wentz gets hurt 16 snaps in, just like Fitzpatrick. But maybe we're getting a meme quarterback to fix what didn't happen last year, and we'll just figure it out. I don't know. Go ahead, Donnie. Do the Vikings. It was supposed to be short.
Okay. Yeah. So Vikings at 12. They're gonna take a corner because they need one. Sauce, how you doing, buddy? Sauce Gardner, welcome to Minnesota. 3 straight years in a row where I'm gonna give the Vikings at least an A pick because their drafts over the last few years have just been slam dunk after slam dunk. Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, and now
with the trade back.
Yeah, with the trade back, and now you're going to have Sauce Gardner. I mean, you're going to be good eventually. Just get rid of Kirk Cousins, and then you'll be fine. So, yeah, Sauce Gardner, man press corner, tested way better at the combine, actually, than I thought he would. I thought he would be, like, in the 80s at best, and actually, no, not the 80s, like the 60s at best. Yeah. And I believe he was in the 80s. Don't quote me on that because apparently, like, once again, I don't know anything and I'm never right at this.
I don't know where he was.
Just don't look it up.
I won't look it up for you. I won't look it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, he did test way better than I thought, and that definitely rose him up draft boards. He's still a CB2, though, so stop saying he's better than Stanley, but Sauce is one heck of a player, and he's still with the top 10 pick.
Yeah, I have a top 5 grade on him right now, actually. I love Sauce Gardner.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think he's got a higher floor. I think he's got a higher floor than Stingley only because of the injuries, and that's it. You know, if Stingley's healthy, which the higher floor thing only because of injuries, but yeah.
Donnie, you again?
Texans, yes. Texans up next. Even though this guy isn't my edge 3, I just think at this point you just got to swing for the fence because you're just such a terrible team. So Trayvon Walker, how you doing? 6'6", 275, and can play in coverage. It's a little terrifying, but athlete. That's okay. Yeah, athlete. That's all he is. He's an athlete with okay tape, and that's it. But no, he is Rashawn Gary.
I think he is Rashawn Gary, dude. Honestly, it's like athletic.
I know he is. Yeah. Rashawn Gary's don't work all the time, though. But hey,
no, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of Trayvon Walker.
Not the number 2 pick.
No. I love DJ, but man, that was spicy. That was spicy. That was really spicy. Over Aiden Hutchinson.
He's not the first.
No. He had Hutchinson. He had Hutchinson 1. He had Hutchinson.
Oh, someone had Hutchinson going 6 in their mock, and I was like, "What are you doing, man?"
Well,
probably.
I think it was Mel Kiper.
Probably was Mel Kiper.
Oh, we'll do that. I was gonna say maybe Ryan Wilson, but Mel Kiper fits that also. Trayvon Walker, he's an athlete who needs a lot of work. A lot of work. Yep. But hey, he could be Rashawn Gary, and look at Rashawn Gary this year. He was stupendous this year.
Yep.
So you're getting that ceiling of a top, I'd say 5 edge rusher in the league, and also he has coverage versatility. So that's nice.
Yeah, he was one of the best athletes at the combine too. He had a ridiculous combine. Number 14, Ravens. So I am a huge fan of what the Ravens did this offseason. Like they are. I hate saying they're a sneaky team because they're really not. Like people know they're good, but like they are really a sneaky team in the AFC. You know, like, a lot of other people are saying the AFC West and the Bengals and
AFC's so stacked.
The AFC is ridiculous.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
The Ravens are really good though. Like they got Marcus Williams, who I think is maybe the most underrated player in the entire NFL. And it's funny because a lot of Ravens fans are like, "Oh, we want Tyrann Mathieu. Well, you get the better safety."
I think the free safety play is way more needed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought you were trying to say he's a better overall safety. No, but
Marcus Williams.
I mean, Matthew's getting old. You know.
Marcus Williams is better than Tyrann Mathieu, dude. Yes, he is. Marcus Williams.
Debatable.
It's
debatable.
Marcus Williams is better than Tyrann Mathieu.
Matthew didn't have that good of a year this year.
No, Marcus Williams is better than Tyrann Mathieu. I will take that to my grave. And also,
it's certainly as like a 3 to 5 year investment. Like absolutely, you'd rather have Marcus Williams.
No, he's
okay. Yeah, that's fine. But he's not better right now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Marcus Williams is better than Tyrann Mathieu. I think yes, he's way better than Tyrann Mathieu. I think
way better.
Yes, dude. I think Tyrann Mathieu is a little overrated. I still think he's a good player. Marcus Williams, I think, is extremely underrated. Other side though, they also need an offensive tackle. And they got Morgan Moses, who is fantastic. He's one of the better run blocking tackles in the league. And for a team that runs the ball as much as the Ravens, like that is fantastic. So now you don't need to force, Trevor Penning or something like that at 14 here, you could take just kind of a best player available. And a guy who is my best player available, and who I think actually is their biggest need, even though they have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, is Trent McDuffie. I have like a top, I think he's my number 12 or 13 prospect right now, so he's right in this range. And I love this fit for the Ravens, and he can play in that slot if you need him to. I just think Trent McDuffie's a stupendous corner, and when Marcus Peters probably leaves, him and Marlon Humphrey, that could be really a lot of fun. So Trent McDuffie, who is one of the most underrated players in this draft, going to the Ravens, just keep on adding to that loaded secondary right now. I mean, Baltimore is a really, really good team for next year and should be Super Bowl contenders.
This is my ideal situation where the Eagles don't get any of these top 3 corners, but they'll probably end up getting Stingley just because it's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But here we are, Eagles fans. I'll give you some good players. How about this? 15th pick, Tyler Linderbaum still on the board. Yep. I honestly, you got to take him first because you get that contract help. You can take the more expensive position after him. We've been doing this with the 15, 16. The valuable position is going to go 16. Linderbaum is going to be your center of the future. Jason Kelce just got another year extended to his contract. I don't know what the long-term plan is there. It seems like he's just been playing it year by year. But the Eagles could signal to him that it's time to either move on or retire or something if they do get Tyler Linderbaum and just lock in some more top 5 center play for, the next decade at least. A guy that we're all very high on and continue to think is a can't-miss prospect at the center position. 16th pick, as we're back-to-back with Philly, is Jermaine Johnson the second. I know Mac's not a fan of the edge from Florida State. I thought he did well enough at the Combine. It wasn't brilliant, but it was good. A little bit smaller than I thought he would be, but for me, the tape, I think I see enough from him that I like him as a top prospect in this draft at the edge position. He had the production this year at Florida State. A team that really doesn't have a lot of talent on that defense, and he was consistently their best player. There are some flashes, I think, in all facets of his game. There are times where he goes quiet, but I think there's enough there to develop that he does remind me a little bit of a smaller Montez Sweat. And based on the returns of Sweat so far, I kind of like the idea of taking Jermaine Johnson, putting him next to a similar edge rusher, in my opinion, and Josh Sweat on the other side. I know they got Hassan Reddick, but I'm a fan of having 3 edge rushers, first of all, and second of all, I'm not the biggest Hassan Reddick fan, but it doesn't hurt to have 3 edge rushers that are good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 17. The team who might. Oh, excuse me. Let's go back and read off number 9 through 16. I keep forgetting that. Number 9, Seahawks get Evan Neal. Jets take Drake London at number 10. 11, Commanders, Devin Lloyd. 12, Vikings, Sauce Gardner. 13, Texans, Trayvon Walker. 14, Ravens, Trent McDuffie. And the Eagles at 15 and 16 take Tyler Linderbaum and Jermaine Johnson the second. So I have the team who I think won the offseason in the Los Angeles Chargers. So far. So they get Khalil Mack, who is a terrific run defending edge still after, suffering an injury. And I still think he's a really good edge. And so you add another superstar on that defense, which you, as we said before, you so badly need with Derwin James and Joey Bosa. Then you get another superstar in J.C. Jackson at corner, which again was another need the Chargers had. And you have Asante Samuel there too. I think this is a fantastic, and Michael Davis isn't great. But you got a superstar corner there. And then you get a really underrated signing, in my opinion, because the interior defensive line was so bad. And if they didn't sign anyone, I probably was going to take Jordan Davis. As much as we make fun of him, I think he actually would fit a pretty huge need here for the Chargers. But Sebastian Joseph-Day, as a nose tackle, is one of the better run-defending nose tackles in this league, which the Chargers so badly needed. So now, if you're a Los Angeles Chargers fan, you could do whatever the heck you want here with that 17th overall pick. And I still think they could use another corner to start on the outside. Maybe Asante Samuel could do that because I don't think Michael Davis is great. Maybe you take a receiver here. I was very close to doing that. But I kind of like what Josh Palmer did for them last year. And you still have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So we'll see with that. The big need, though, and they cut Brian Bulaga, which means this guy, Storm Norton, is still there. And I'm going out on a limb right now. Storm Norton was the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year because Max Crosby beat him like a drum in that game. So you need a right tackle because Rashawn Slater is a fantastic left tackle, as we saw in his rookie year. So I'm taking Bernard Raymond, the tackle from Central Michigan, who is one of the better pass protectors, I think, in this draft. He's a really good athlete. I like him more than Trevor Penning, especially for the Chargers here at 17. So I really think this is the biggest need now for the Chargers after filling so many of their other needs in free agency. So I think it would be a really, really good pick for them. And that Chargers offense, like, you're just plugging holes everywhere, man. And like I said before with the Ravens, like, the Chargers are a legitimate Super Bowl contender next year now.
I have the Saints here at 18, and although this guy is my QB2, I just kind of think he fits the scheme better than Matt Corral. So I'm going to give them Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pittsburgh, Mr. Gloves, short hands, but Nick already explained nicely why that doesn't really matter that much.
In a dome, too, now, the Saints.
In a dome, yeah. So maybe no that weather. Won't. Yeah, no weather. Don't travel in the cold, and then it'll be okay. Even though they need wide receiver and they did sign Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal, I'm not the biggest Jameis Winston fan. I'm just going to keep it real. So even though they signed him to a 2-year deal, there's no hurt and reason getting Kenny Pickett, who honestly might be better than Jameis Winston whenever he does get into the NFL, considering he is the most day one ready. Also, you have to worry about maybe that ACL tear. So yeah, Saints fans, don't scream at me. I don't like Jameis Winston that much. I still think he's a top 15-ish quarterback, but I think Pickett can be a borderline top 10, maybe even top 10 quarterback.
Oh.
Yep, I do think that fits as a day one starter for them. Eagles again at 19. We went defense and O-line, first 2 picks. We're going to go receiver. I think they do need to go this way, and I know there's this kind of pick kind of takes Jalen Reagor out of their offense, maybe, unless you put Reagor in the slot. I think they do need to get better at receiver, though. And Jamison Williams, for me, all the reports on his knee is that he's been good. His knee's been getting better, and he's going to be ready to go. And he remains my wide receiver 3 on this board. I like the deep threat ability. I think he can be a little more than that. I still think he's kind of a poor man's Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle was excellent year 1. So I think if you want Jalen Hurts to get better as a deep passer, the first thing you can do is give him a guy who consistently separates downfield. And I think the Eagles, not only do I know they're a fan of Jameson Williams, but I think that if he's available here, that they would certainly pull the trigger at 19.
Love that. Number 20 here, my Pittsburgh Steelers, who have Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback right now. Goat, yes.
MVP.
MVP.
The
MVP.
Let's go.
That's true. But that is not the answer. And I am actually taking another North Carolina quarterback. But this one actually won the starting job at North Carolina immediately, unlike Mitchell Trubisky, who we should have known when he couldn't beat out, oh, God, what was this?
Marquise Williams.
Marquise Williams. When he couldn't beat out Marquise Williams for like 3 years, and we should have been like, oh, maybe he's not worth the number 2 overall pick.
And he got taken ahead of,
taken ahead of Patrick Mahomes and
the unnamed and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes, yes.
Just some randoms, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam Howell, who is my QB1, and I know a lot of people hate that take. I actually posted a Sam Howell video today, and TikTok was not happy with me. Let's just put it that way. But I think Sam Howell has the best combination of floor and ceiling in this draft. I think Kenny Pickett has the highest floor of any quarterback in this draft. Malik Willis has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft. And I think Sam Howell is the best combination of the two, which is why he's my QB1. And this is really good value for the Steelers. They are not going to be in the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud sweepstakes next season. They're going to be too good for that. So you get someone here to fall at 20. I think this is what you need to do if you're the Steelers, because this team is too good to have Mitch Trubisky as a starting quarterback. And I think Sam Howell could be your quarterback of the future, and he's worth taking a swing on here at 20.
How crazy is that? Like, people already hate Sam Howell because his comp is Baker Mayfield, and he goes to North Carolina, which is Mitchell Trubisky's school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just absurd, man.
Exactly.
No wonder people hate him so much. I just kind of put the pieces together. That's actually kind of funny. So Patriots at 21. I know Pat fans, you want a wide receiver. I don't really think there are many here that I kind of love for you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a position that I feel like Bill Belichick would take, and that's Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia. I'm in love with this guy.
Bill Belichick will love Nakobe Dean, dude.
Yeah, like I'm in love with Nakobe Dean. I think I'm way higher on him than you guys are. I have him as a top 10 player in this draft. I think he's the best coverage linebacker since Isaiah Simmons. And if we're going past that, it's been a while since I've seen a better coverage player. I tested out pretty good athletically. No. He didn't do any workouts, did he?
No, not yet.
No, he didn't. But his athleticism, he will. Yes, at his pro day. So yeah, Nakobe Dean, Bill Belichick, have fun. Patriots, don't scream at me. I'm sorry. I can't see you guys drafting. Just look at me for a second. Is Bill Belichick going to draft a wide receiver in the first round? My answer is probably not.
No.
So, yeah, Nakobe Dean, have fun with him. He's a good player.
Bill Belichick will have a lot of fun with the Kobe Dean too. Like that is a guy who Bill Belichick will love in that defense. Speaking of wide receiver, the Green Bay Packers are here at 22 because of the Devontae Adams trade. So I am taking Treylon Burks, the wide receiver from Arkansas, because their receiver room, we mentioned it with the Falcons earlier, their receiver room, maybe the second worst in the NFL right now behind the Atlanta Falcons. Like they have their receiver room without Devontae Adams. You know, we keep saying all the time, like, man, the Packers need a number 2 receiver because if Devontae Adams gets hurt or if he's just, being triple covered all game, you need someone else. Well, now Devontae Adams is gone and Aaron Rodgers is still there and you're still in this win now mode because you have the 2-time reigning MVP on your team. You need to surround him with playmakers. And what you have at receiver now is a freaking joke. So you take a guy like Treylon Burks, who I think has a pretty high ceiling, and he's a bigger receiver, and I think the Packers actually could use him pretty well in that offense. You need more receivers. And Treylon Burks, if you don't take a receiver here at 22, and I'm not going to spoil my next pick, you need to take every receiver you can for Green Bay Packers because you only have 1, 2, maybe 3 more years of Aaron Rodgers. You need to maximize that. It is a sham that they haven't won another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers because how they've surrounded him with talent is such a joke. And if I'm the Green Bay Packers GM, I am trying to maximize these last 3 years or 1 or 2 years as much as possible because it's been awful what they've been doing for Aaron Rodgers on the offensive side of the ball.
I've always hated how much hate Aaron Rodgers does get. Like, at the end of the day, he is the most talented quarterback to ever throw in NFL football, in my opinion. Like, Brady's the GOAT. He's the most accomplished. Rodgers is the most talented football player I have ever seen throw football. Maybe Mahomes will eventually take that spot, but as of right now, I do think it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Cardinals at 23. Listen, man, I don't make the decisions of what happens in this mock draft. I just let it fall to me, so I'm just going to let it keep happening. So I'm once again going to take my draft crush. Hey, listen, I don't decide what happens with this whole mock draft. I just do my picks. They do theirs, and they let them fall to me. Like, I'm not going to complain about it. Kyle Elam, how you doing, buddy? Go get the shoe thrower's teammate and have some fun.
Yeah, bring it back.
I didn't realize that.
Not the worst corner duo, actually, that they built there with Murphy in the slot, too. Dallas.
Jeff Gladney.
Jeff Gladney, hey, throwing other things, I guess.
He was actually decent on the Vikings. He's like, wasn't he found innocent or am I?
No, he was found innocent. That makes me feel a bit better, but yeah.
Not as bad as Mr. Unnamed.
Yeah, not as bad.
We should just make that a thing, by the way.
I'm never saying his name. Yeah. Voldemort.
He who shall not be. Yeah, exactly. Voldemort. That's our cop. Cowboys at 24. George Karlaftis is on the board. I did that last time. He just fell to me at Dallas. But they did sign both. Dante Fowler was not good, and I believe they got Jason Pierre-Paul. I think so.
No.
I don't think they didn't. They brought Lawrence
so
back.
maybe I should have gone. I think tackle's a big need though too, because Lyle Collins is gone, and I think Trevor Penning's a riser, and I like Trevor Penning. I've always had him ahead of Bernard Raymond. He had a great combine. I think he's a good plug and play guy at right tackle. Has the size, has the tape. I think it checks out. Dallas is so. I'm a little afraid of what happens when Dak Prescott doesn't have perfect surroundings around him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of scared. He's been really good, but he hasn't been like elite with all that he's had around him. He's just been like, one of those top 8 quarterbacks, in my opinion. He's been as close as you could be to elite without being elite. And the last time he wasn't that good is when he had no Amari Cooper and his O-line was beat up. And so I'm a little scared. So I would be looking to add either receiver or O-line with this pick if I'm them. I do not want to let Dak have a lesser supporting cast ever, really.
Well, you would as a Washington.
I would. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't lie on camera, Nick.
And Cowboy killer Carson Wentz is there too now. So
yeah. That's true.
Carson Wentz.
Thank God we're going 2-15, but we got 2 wins against Dallas. I honestly think the fans
can't wait for the Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott narratives to come back to life again.
Oh man, those are amazing.
Especially when they are like their DVOA is like 17 spots ahead of us, but they finish 8 and 9, and we squeak it out at 9 and 8 and win the division.
Exactly.
That's what'll happen.
All right, let's recap the pick 17 through 24. Bernard Raymond goes to the Chargers at 17, 18 Saints, Kenny Pickett, 19 Eagles, Jameson Williams, 20 Steelers, Sam Howell, 21 Patriots, Nakobe Dean, 22 Packers, Treylon Burks, 23 Cardinals, Kyer Elam, 24 Cowboys, Trevor Penning. All right, 25, a pick I really struggled with, and that is the Buffalo Bills, because this team is just, they're stacked, man. And they do a really good job of making sure, like, their holes on their roster aren't really holes. It's like, oh, they can stand to improve at this. It's not like a major area of need. And I understand they signed Jamison Crowder and they have Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis, but I don't love a Jamison Crowder. And I think you get a guy like Chris Olave in that offense with that speed, which they don't really have, man, because Stephon Diggs is not actually a fast receiver at all. In fact, I think he ran like a 4.55, and he's not really that big either. But still, he's one of the best receivers in the league. Gabriel Davis is a bigger receiver. Obviously, doesn't have great speed. James Crowder is a little bit older. Chris Olave would present that speed in that offense, and he could really take the top off. And with Josh Allen, with that superstar arm that he has, I mean, you just give him more weapons, man, and you lost Cole Beasley. I think Chris Olave could fill that role in the slot really well. And I think that, man, that Buffalo offense will be so dangerous, and they're missing a speed element right now. They've been missing it for a while, honestly, and Chris Olave would present that element in that offense. So I think I love this fit here at 25 for the Bills.
Number 26, the Titans. I have never been the biggest Ryan Tannehill guy. I'm a fan of the reclamation project they've had there. I think he's not the reason they lost that playoff game, even though everyone likes to call him out for throwing 3 picks, of which one, maybe 2, arguably 2 were on him, but I really think it was closer to 1. I don't think the last one was really fully on him, but is what it is. I do think they should be looking for upgrades. I don't think the roster is in a position where they are like needing to like go for the best position player if they like a quarterback here. And for me, Matt Corral, he's not my QB1 anymore, but I still like him a lot. I would take him here as a value pick as my QB2. And I actually think the fit here is great. If you're an RPO quarterback, having a wide receiver pair of Robert Woods, who's a guy who gets open really quickly on intricate routes, and you can hit him on those quick throws, and then an A.J. Brown who can take a slant or take a quick crosser and just go the distance is excellent for a guy who's developing. And you can use him in the run game with Derrick Henry pulling the defense one way and then him pulling him the other way. And you can eventually help him develop as a deep passer. Yes, I said the same things about another favorite quarterback of mine coming out, Marcus Mariota, when he went to the Titans before, and that didn't work. But you know what? I'm in on it again. They have better receivers this time. Corey Davis didn't work, and that was my excuse for that one. A.J. Brown is a stud, and I think a guy like A.J. Brown fits so perfectly with what Matt Corral brings to the table as a quarterback. I think this is actually a great spot for him at landing spot. And here we go. I'd be all in. Let's go, Titans. Let's get the upgrade. Let's get Mans. Let's get Matt Corral.
You would reunite them.
Reunite them.
Yeah, you're right.
That'd be fun. Oh my gosh, and he's also one of the favorites to go to Seattle. Reunite with DK Metcalf also.
Oh man, here we go.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Oh my gosh. Okay, Buccaneers at 27. Thought about receiver here, just didn't really like any of the options at all. And thought about Jahan Dotson, but not really feeling it. I think you got to replace Alex Kappa, who went to the Bengals. So my new offensive guard too, because Kenyon Green stunk at the combine. Zion Johnson. Shout out to once again. By the way.
Yeah, I love this fit too, Don. It's a great pick.
Yeah, it's
who's your number one guard? Real quick.
Oh,
interior. He means. Yeah.
Oh, interior. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I will. I don't know if I said guard. That's.
I was just saying. I was like, whoa. I was like, who do you have?
Yeah. Yeah. Should have made that more clear. That's my bad. But no. I just think Brady's coming back. You got to get in protection. The offensive line is still going to be good, but just maximize the protection as much as you can. Just make sure Donovan Smith is your worst offensive lineman, and then you'll be okay. You re-signed Ryan Jensen. You have what's his name? Oh my God, Ali Marpet. Yeah, Ali Marpet. You have Ali Marpet.
He retired. Shaq Mason.
He retired.
Oh my God, he did retire.
And they traded for Shaq Mason.
Right. Oh my God, I forgot.
They just rebuilt that O-line so quick if they do this. And
it's like the Chiefs from last year.
It's annoying because it's the only way Brady really ever loses is when his O-line is a problem. So
yeah.
This is gonna happen just because I know.
And of course, out of all the tackles the Bucs got from the 2020 draft, it had to be by far the best one.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah, Tristan Wirfs.
And they let the best one fall to them as the fourth tackle. Brady knew even before then.
Brady even wanted him too. Before the draft, that's the guy he wanted too. So Good job, Brady. I guess you're a draft expert now as well. So go get Zion Johnson, improve the protection. I think the weapons are fine enough for now. You have Godwin back. Mike Evans is good. Gronk is probably going to come back. Isn't OJ Howard on the Bills now?
Yes. OJ Howard, he wanted to the Bills, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they ever played him anyway. Who remembers when he was a first-round pick? So, yeah, Zion Johnson.
PJ's like #1 prospect of all time, OJ Howard. He was in love with OJ Howard. Okay, Green Bay Packers fans here at 28. We are taking another freaking wide receiver because, like I mentioned before, your receiver room is disastrous. I did a bad job on my last pick with Treylon Burks. Let me just read you off the names that you have now at receiver without Devontae Adams. Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, 80-year-old Randall Cobb, Amari Rodgers, Juwan Winfrey, and Malik Taylor. That is the 2022 Green Bay Packers receiving room with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. That is a freaking joke, and there are no really receivers left again. So I'm taking Jahan Dotson, and people are like, oh, well, Randall Cobb and Amari Rodgers are your slot receiver. Don't need another one. No, they're not good enough. Jahan Dotson is a much better slot receiver, my best receiver on the board. I wouldn't hate like a George Pickens, but I kind of took a bigger receiver already with Treylon Burks. And I wouldn't hate another guy who's going to take it later on in this mock draft. I was really close to picking him here at 28, but I think Jahan Dotson's a safer bet. And honestly, if you're the Packers, you need a safe bet at wide receiver. You don't need to be swinging for the fences because, if you're taking a guy who needs to be developed, like a guy who be picked a little bit, you just don't have the time for that. You have 2 or 3 years now to maximize Aaron Rodgers. You need guys who are going to come in and just be a quarterback's best friend. And Treylon Burks is, maybe he needs a little bit of work, but I still think it would be a day one impact player. Jahan Dotson will be as well. This receiver room is so freaking bad. And since you've ignored it forever, since you passed on T. Higgins and took freaking Jordan Love, we're in this spot now where I have to force the same position 2 times in a row in the first round because you did such a horrible job before. So, yes, Jahan Dotson and Treylon Burks. Packers need to take not only one receiver in the first round, but both of their first-round picks, in my opinion, need to be a wide receiver. And 28 here, they're taking Jahan Dotson.
Hey guys, Future Donnie here. So unfortunately, we actually made this mock draft before the Tyreek Hill trade, so unfortunate. But I'm going to be changing it up right here. So with the 29th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs, instead of the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be selecting George Pickens, the wide receiver from Georgia. I think they desperately need wide receiver after letting go of Tyreek Hill. All you have is Juju Smith-Schuster. Yes, you have McCall Hardman, and then you have Travis Kelce. You need another guy. They signed MVS, but you need a #1 true guy, and I think George Pickens with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes can hit that superstar ceiling that a lot of people believe he can. I would prefer Christian Watson over him, but Christian Watson, I think the Chiefs are going to enjoy George Pickens more because, he went to Georgia and Christian Watson goes into North Dakota State. So I'm going to be selecting George Pickens with the 29th pick. Back to the video.
Hey, Chiefs at 30. Andrew Booth, what's up? Corner out of Clemson. Like I said before, I hated him at first because the NC State game just lived in my head rent-free pretty much because that game was just so bad. If you don't know what happened, I'll break it down real quick. He was targeted 13 times and allowed 10 catches against nobodies at NC State. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, come on, dude, really? And that was the first game I saw, which is probably why I got such a bad negative impression on him, because that's kind of what I do after the first game. That's like my biggest takeaway, most likely, after I watch the first game. But anyway, they need a corner. You lost Charvarius Ward to the Niners. Yeah. I like L'Jarius Sneed in the slot, and also he can play out at safety. You need a true lockdown outside boundary guy, considering you have Devontae Adams now in your division, along with Keenan Allen and also Jerry Jeudy potentially breaking out, or Cortland Sutton. You got to get some corners because the offense is fine enough for now. You signed Juju. You don't need a wide receiver anymore. The offensive line is obviously good. I think it's really, really good. I think it's the best one in the division. Go get a corner, and Andrew Booth can fill that role perfectly as a true #1.
I love that. And you mentioned an edge, Donnie. Well, there actually was one you could take in, and I'm taking him here at 31. And I just want to say right now, everyone who hated this take that this guy's a first-round pick, he went out in the combine, weighed 200. He is 250 pounds. 250 pounds for this guy.
That was big.
That was huge. Not only that, he was tested out as a 93rd percentile athlete. So I ask you guys now, why the hell is Nick Bonito not a first-round pick? Ready for this? Edge 3 right now. I've seen it all. Edge 3. He is my edge 3 in this draft. Everyone wants to force Trayvon Walker. Everyone wants to force Jermaine Johnson. Anyone like that. Nick Bonito is the better football player, and he tested out as an elite athlete, and he's 250 pounds now. He was the best pass rusher over the last 3 years in college football. His run defending is whatever, but also there are other players who are not great run defenders that I would say I would take Nick Bonito over. So Nick Bonito, I think, is a big-time sleeper in this draft. He is definitely not going to be a first-round pick, but this is the guy, along with Sam Howell, who I am just banging the table for and saying, I don't get it. Why is this guy not more loved? Nick Bonito deserves to be a first-round pick. The Bengals don't really have a huge need at edge, but I think Sam Hubbard is just okay. And they kind of run that 3-4 defense where Nick Bonito needs to be in a stand-up role. And I think him with Trey Henderson, that would be really exciting. So Nick Bonito, who absolutely 1,000% should be a first-round pick. He won't be, but I think he would fit a really cool place for him to go in Cincinnati here.
Big 12 competition.
That's fine, Donnie. I'm just look.
You made Tevin Jenkins look pretty bad.
You did, and Jermaine Johnson didn't dominate ACC competition. So let's just. Well, I'm calling it like I see it right now. Nick Bonito, I think, is the third best edge prospect.
I'll take the ceiling on Johnson. I'll take the ceiling on Walker. Heck, I'll take the ceiling on Karlaftis.
No. I mean, I don't think Trayvon Walker.
I'll take the ceiling on Boye Mafe.
I think the Walker Bonito debate is an interesting one. I'm not that high. I mean, Walker to me is kind of in the Jason Oweh category as a prospect right now, and it's the top 10 things a little weird.
At least he knows how to get a sack in college football, though.
Oh my God,
his tape is worse.
His tape is so much worse than Odafe.
I know.
Pressure rate's worse.
I'm kidding.
I looked it up. 13th highest graded Georgia defensive player last year. 13th. That is absurd for a guy to be a top 10 pick. Oh man, whatever.
Well, here we are. Lions at 32. We grabbed safety, so edge and wide receiver, kind of our main looks. I don't really, I'm beginning to fade this QB class. I don't know. I think other guys have performed well enough at the combine that I'm beginning to kind of move these position players up over. Receiver is my target. Christian Watson, shades of Calvin Johnson with his combine and pre-draft process so far. He has just been an obscene athlete so far. The tape doesn't really, show clear starting wide receiver day one, but I think the ceiling for this guy is unreal. He's just got to learn to use his physicality better. And I think route running, I just don't think North Dakota State used him on a ton of more intricate routes. I think he has the ability to do it. He's clearly an athlete enough. But dude, the way he moves, the way how fluid his hips are, and how fast he runs at his size is just something that cannot be replicated at this position too often. Even Drake London, we talk about how he's just a basketball player and it's just an unreal athlete. This guy just blows that out of the water. And for my money, we're talking about Trayvon Walker, he's such a great athlete at edge. There's so many good athletes at edge. You don't see guys like this at receiver. You don't.
Yeah.
And because of the specialness of that, it makes me want to take this guy late in the first round. And I know it's maybe a development project. He's a guy you're maybe not year one going to see everything from, but I would love to just have a guy that I can give the ball, put in his hands, have him open on slants, teach him to be better in jump ball scenarios. And he's just a physical freak. And I think if you get the right quarterback in here next year, you could really, really, really reach some high ceilings with this type of receiver talent if he hits. And I think it's worth it at this point in the draft, quite frankly.
I love that. No, I love that with Amon-Ra St. Brown too. That could be
Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, Christian Watson,
too. Yeah, that's true. And Bryce Young or CJ Stroud that could be a lot of fun.
Malik Willis
or Malik Willis. Yeah, we'll see. Honestly, I mean, you get those guys though.
Malik Willis and Christian Watson in the first round would be hot. It would be hot.
That would be.
I would give it
the all ceiling draft. All-time ceiling draft.
That could either be really hot or, oh my God, what were they doing? Why did they do that? Or it could be holy crap, they got 2 Hall of Famers at 2 and 32.
Or they get 2 guys who are just out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Actually, that Christian Watson, that's why I didn't take him for the Packers, because I think the Packers need a slam dunk right now. Christian Watson, I mean, I think he does have the highest ceiling of any receiver in this class. I will admit that. His ceiling is ridiculous. That's what we got, though, for our first round mock draft post free agency. We recorded this on Tuesday, just in case anything else. I highly doubt anything else stupid is going to happen. But the NFL, this has been the craziest NFL offseason, I think, of all time. I can't remember any offseason where just so much has happened like this.
And
so
it's going to get more and more like this.
Probably the COVID year one when Brady went to the Bucs and then DeAndre Hopkins was traded for a ham sandwich. Probably that.
Yeah, that. But even like you got Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, like all these guys. Brady retired, come back. Like it was just like, oh my god, like Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. It's been wild.
I really think it's because I say this. I've been trying to say this on Twitter a lot too. I think that the value of players is just agreed on now, and people are able to move these players a lot easier. And I think part of that is you had all these like position players being traded for 2 first-round picks, and none of those trades were good except for maybe the Jalen Ramsey trade. And now position players, unless you're Devontae Adams, don't get traded for first-round picks. Unless you're a quarterback, you don't get that.
Yeah.
And because all these teams agreed on it, all the moves are happening.
Yeah.
And it's just it's awesome for the league. You know?
It's kind of like the NBA a little bit. And teams also might see like the Rams, how they just bought a Super Bowl basically. Like, hell, man, we could do that. We don't need to wait on these rookies to hopefully pan out. Like, let's take the sure things right now. So yeah, it is a very fun time in the NFL. The reason I said it's Tuesday though, if anything else happens and it makes these picks look stupid, that's not our fault. Like, we recorded this on Tuesday night, and hopefully nothing else crazy
Tuesday,
happens.
March 22nd.
Yes, that doesn't ruin this mock draft, but that's what we got for our first round mock draft post free agency. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boomer Bust Draft. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, check out the Merch Store, check out Nick's podcast as well, to Give Me 2 Years and I'll Name It podcast. And that's what we got. So for Nick Merriam and Donny Clemons, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.